Good evening and welcome. Welcome to this first meeting of the 2014-2015 ADK GVC Valley Chapter Sessions. I hope you've all had a good summer. I hope nobody got seriously hurt this summer. You had fun outdoors. I hope you're ready now to sit and I guess commiserate with the rest of us as the winter's coming. We first have some club business tonight. First, the museum asked us to please, if you would, please note the fire exits. The quickest one to exit is actually out this door behind Jackson. There's also an exit coming down the stairs and around back behind. The other thing is please silence your cell phone, put it on vibrate or turn it off. And the next thing, since this is our first meeting of the year, you may not be acquainted with anybody, with the people sitting next to you, or the people 3 or 4 or 5 chairs away. So take a moment, introduce yourself, tell them one exciting thing you did this summer. Program note this evening is Waterways, Charlie Holman.
Congratulations, Charlie!
Hey, that's sweet. For those of you that don't know what the PTFL stands for, it was started a number of years ago. It's called the Paddle Tour of the Finger Lakes. And John's going to throw me out of here.
That's right. Yeah, Charlie already started this, so yeah, it's a quest that we circumnavigate all 11 of the Finger Lakes, staying as close to the shore as possible. No cutting corners, no going point to point. It doesn't count. The entire shoreline of all the lakes combined is equal to a little bit over 400 miles. Wow. Hemlock, Canadice, Honeyway, and Watisco, they're the smaller of the lakes. And they're more easily done. But when we get to the larger lakes, Seneca, Cayuga, and Keuka, being deeper and larger, wider, they can present some challenges with the wind and the weather. So those might be 2 or 3 tries before we get a section done. But even an 11-mile long Wasco Lake, 1 mile wide, can present a challenge. It took you, what, 6 tries before he completed the circumnavigation of that lake? The first 4 ended up with the Bass Pro Shops. Also, public access, for the launches is very limited at the larger lakes. 10 miles between access points is not uncommon. In fact, Keuka has basically 3 launch points. 1 at each end of the branches and 1 at Hammondsport. So that lake, you're looking at 20-mile plus paddles to do all the sections. But on August 2nd, we had planned a paddle on Keuka Lake from Aurora to Myers Beach. This would have completed Charlie's paddle, the PTFL. But when we got down there, we realized there's no public launch at Aurora, so we had to settle for Long Point State Park about 3 miles further south. It was a beautiful day, and we completed the paddle. Well, Charlie was short 3 miles. Not gonna count. So on the following Sunday, August 10th, after spending all of Saturday, Friday night and Saturday down in Ithaca, being on the kayak safety team for the Women's Swimming for Hospice, we headed back to the east shore of Cayuga Lake. I think there was 12 of us, maybe. And we did the paddle from Myers Beach, which is about, or from Long Point, which is about halfway down the lake, all the way up to Mud Lock, which is right the first lock on the Cayuga-Seneca Canal, going into the Erie Canal. So we did stop at the Aurora Public Dock for a little photo op and a congratulatory paddle raise. That's Charlie's typical way. Balancing it on his flat head. So, yeah, it's taken Charlie a little bit longer than some of the others. I think you probably started when it first started, which I'm not sure when that was, 2004, 2003? 5. But, you know, Charlie being the waterways chairman, we had to put in paddle. We only did a few PTF paddles in the past few years, each year, because, well, we've got the other weekend paddles. As well as he's formed a kayak safety team that is in support of 4 of our local triathlons, as well as a group of us go down and do the Women's Swim for Hospice down in Ithaca each year. So that's 5 weekends out of the summer that we're not doing a paddle or have the opportunity to do the PDFL. But Charlie joins Jennifer Bivavar and Jerry Wall, Karen and Bill Bukowski, and Bill Lawn, who finished last year, as the only people that have finished, officially completed our quest. So, congratulations, Charlie. For this, he gets a measly patch with all 11 lakes on it, but it's tough to get these patches. This is only the 6th one. And so you don't, when you actually finish.
Thanks. I guess now I'll talk about waterways. Speaking of PTFLs, we're actually organizing one for this Saturday, the south end of Cayuga Lake, from Taconic State Park around to Myers Beach. What John didn't emphasize is these paddles, you have to paddle at about 3.5 to 4 miles an hour for extended lengths of time. So it's not for everybody, but it's still fun. Our Monday morning paddle group is still going strong. They got paddles on the schedule right through October. Dave's advanced paddle group that goes out on Tuesday nights, the same thing, going right through October. I'm going to be putting more on the schedule for October, and then we'll go into hibernation. So, what's that? Oh, there's other people that do it too. But anybody who wants to join us, you know, depending on your skill level, we've got something for anybody. So come join us. Thanks.
Thanks, Charlie. Next, Trails, Marty Turner.
Hello, I'm Marty Turner, hiking chair. First thing I'm going to talk about is the away trips. They seem to go on well, at least no one's told me any problems. And the one that I went on, Northfield Lake Placid, it only rained for 2 hours and 5 days while we're backpacking. And we got back into, actually the lean-to is about 6 o'clock most of the time, so that we actually had no soreness or not any really problems. The second thing I'm going to talk about is the Sunday hikes, and what's being led is a hike at Letchworth. You need to do at least a Sunday hike to be able to qualify, or you get a hold of Larry Telly and he'll approve you. That information is online and also in the Genesean. The third thing I'm going to talk about is the Saturday hikes. And I had the dream hike in my life. 2 people showed up and they told me they wanted the hardest hills they could find. They didn't make flat ground, so I had no restrictions. So I did about 1,000 feet of vertical in the rifle range trail. So, and we did 4 miles. The Saturday hikes are going on pretty well. We're still doing impromptu, and we're if someone calls up and gives me a hike, I'll put it on the Geneseian, or I'll put it on the website. And we're getting about 50% that way, and I had 3 hikes actually in a row now, and Sue Dory just volunteered to do one at Braddock's Bay Park, and that one is on the website now. It should be Saturday, so I hike at 10 o'clock if you're interested. The final thing is that it's sort of a hard load for me to do all this stuff. What I'm looking for is a Saturday coordinator that would, coordinate all the hikes, so that it would take a little bit of pressure off me. If anyone has any questions or contact you, you email or talk to me. So that's Saturday hikes, and it's the hiking program. Thank you.
Thanks, Marty. Next, younger members. Dave.
Hello, everybody. So, most of you already know me, so I'll skip the easy stuff. So, the younger members had a pretty busy, pretty active summer. We had an event going on just about every week this summer. Some of our highlights were the 3rd annual Younger Members Lodge trip, Johnsbrook Lodge trip. We called it the Johnsbrook Jamboree. And it was just a great time for us folks to get out, have a base camp out in the wilderness, and do all the hiking we wanted. We're going to be doing that again next year, so it's not too early to start thinking about what you want to do. Also, I'm ready to announce that I am starting to plan our winter trip, our 5th annual winter lodge trip. And the date for that is going to be Valentine's Day weekend, tentatively the Saturday, Sunday, and a Monday of that weekend. And the details are going to be forthcoming. You'll find them in the Geneseian, on the website, on all of the younger members' postings, blah, 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 sorry, I didn't write down anything this time. So you'll have to bear with my rambling. But there's a lot of people here who don't quite fall into the younger members group. I would remind you that you are welcome at all of our events. They're just kind of geared more towards people who are a little bit younger. It's a great way to socialize and network, as well as do a little bit more aggressive stuff, as well as beginner stuff. If you know somebody who has said to you, hey, I think I might like to do this, but I've never tried it, send them to a YM event, because the ones that are marked as geared towards beginner are really there to bring people into the fold, and that's what we need. I mean, we can never have enough outdoor enthusiasts. So next, before I forget, the most important thing is anyone who wants to join the younger members after this meeting, we're heading over to the Old Toad. So come join us. And I'll just transition into the Geneseian. I want to encourage everyone to continue sending in anything that they think might be of interest. If you have any outdoor or wilderness related stories, if you have your own experiences, if you've been on a trip that you thought was exceptional and you want to just gleam about it because you think that it was just, you had the best day of your life hiking in a particular range that most people might not even realize is out there, that's really of interest. And I'll hold on to those, and then in the winter when there's not quite as much going on, we'll have some really interesting things to share with each other because it is your newsletter. And that's about it.
Thanks, Dave. One other item to remind you all is that the Conservation Committee is always looking for, or relatively always looking for new members. Our next meeting is Tuesday, September 23rd, also at the Old Toad. So if you have an interest in conservation, please come and join us. Next, Bruce.
Tonight's the night we induct people into the High Summit Honor Society. In order for our club to thrive, we rely almost exclusively on volunteer efforts of its members. And the High Summit Honor Society was established to acknowledge those members of the chapter whose volunteer efforts over many years have consistently exceeded all expectations in the advancement and promotion of the club. Each year, a committee is convened with the purpose of determining those present or past members whose efforts on behalf of the club render them worthy for induction into the society. This year, we're inducting two outstanding individuals. And Dave Harrison's going to induct the first.
Good evening. Here's a little more light here. Larry Telly is one of Genesee Valley ADK's most enthusiastic and dedicated members. Excuse me, I have a cold. A very active hiker, he's been serving as Genesee Valley's Sunday hike coordinator since 2009. In that capacity, he's devoted a great deal of time to lining up hike leaders and publicizing each week's outing. But his involvement with the Sunday hike program goes far beyond that of administrator. Since he has led numerous Sunday hikes himself, although some of these have been local hikes in county parks, many have been part of a series of all-day hikes that he has been running on the Finger Lakes Trail. One of Larry's aims in leading these hikes has been to help interested chapter members achieve their goal of hiking the entire Finger Lakes Trail in installments. In recent months, he has been leading hikes on the various FLT branch trails. As you can guess, some of these all-day outings have required 2 or 3 hours of motor vehicle travel to the trailhead, which means that the groups have left early in the morning, often as passengers in Larry's van, and return in the late afternoon or early evening. In addition to the Finger Lakes trail hikes, Larry has led other out-of-town chapter outings, including an Adirondack High Peaks a weekend, and has assisted fellow chapter member Joe Roth in leading a number of trips in the White Mountains. All told, Larry has led somewhere in the neighborhood of 60 ADK Genesee Valley chapter hikes. As a hike leader, Larry is very skilled. He's sensitive to the abilities of all the hikers in his groups, and where necessary, he adjusts the pace of the hike if someone is having difficulty keeping up. In addition, the descriptions that he posts in advance of each hike are very thorough, with accurate descriptions of the length of the hike and the terrain. Very often, he accompanies these descriptions with maps and with graphs showing the elevation changes. In addition to his contributions as Sunday hike coordinator and as a hike leader, Larry has been one of the instructors in Genesee Valley ADK's trip leader training programs. He has also completed the first aid training that our chapter sponsors. Moreover, Larry has participated in numerous trail maintenance projects, both as an ADK, as a GVC ADK volunteer, and as a member of another non-ADK volunteer trail maintenance group. The words High Summit are especially applicable to Larry. He is not only an Adirondack 46er, but he's completed the Northeast 111, summiting the highest peaks in New York, New Hampshire, Vermont, and Maine. Now he's working on his Catskill 3500. Although he's one of our chapter's premier hikers and hike leaders, Larry's outdoor recreation interests are not limited to hiking. In recent years, he's been taking part in our chapter's waterways activities, and for the past 4 years, he has attended the annual ADK paddle outing. In all of his activities as a trip leader and participant, Larry has not only demonstrated considerable skill, but has also been someone who is very friendly and welcoming to other participants, both experienced and inexperienced. It's safe to say that without his efforts, Genesee Valley ADK would not be as effective in implementing our mission of encouraging responsible outdoor recreation. And we certainly wouldn't have as much fun as we've had on the trail with Larry. It's both a pleasure and an honor to welcome Larry Telly to membership in the High Summit Honor Society.
Next, Jackson. The second nominee. Hi.
Hello, Jensen.
You always got to see me down there.
Well, I'm very honored to be able to introduce Bob Krenzer as the second inductee. Bob joined our chapter in 2004 as a member of the younger members. Although he has led trips for snowshoeing and bicycling, his passion is always focused on hiking. In 2005, he helped to create Saturday Hikes and continued his role as a leader by organizing and leading those hikes. As if those outings were not enough for him to do, Bob enthusiastically led trips to hike in the Adirondacks. Despite his skill as a hiking leader, Bob had another talent that surfaced in 2008 when he volunteered to be our chapter's treasurer. The membership of the executive committee depended on his reliability for providing excellent financial reports and managing our banking and checking accounts. While serving on the executive committee with Bob during those 4 years, I knew that he was one of the best treasurers we have had. But Bob's heart belonged to hiking, and after stepping down as our treasurer in 2012, he returned to his main love by offering to become a co-chair of the Trails Committee, a difficult job that involves convincing other hikers to lead trips for our chapter. For the next year, he begged, borrowed, and stole hike leaders from our capable membership. Never content to stay idle, Bob branched out to help with our participation in the Pick Up the Parks program for a number of years and assisted with a leaders workshop in 2011. He has volunteered at Expo and at Winterfest and has even found time to join some committees, of which the marketing and communications team has been his most recent. I guess Bob's nickname should be all-around guy for his involvement in a diversity of activities and challenges for our chapter. Those who work with him appreciate his easy manner and friendly style, and always finish a task by knowing how much easier it was through his effort. I am proud to be able to nominate Bob Krenzer for the High Summit Honor Society.
Don't go away, Jackson.
I'm
Bookstore.
not. I'm not. Got to change gears here. two things quickly. For those who don't yet know, because you haven't been at a few recent meetings, I'm helping, I am leading our help for the Montezuma Wetlands Complex. We're selling trail guides and maps for $1 each, and all the funds go to support that wonderful facility. So I have these over at the bookstore table after the program if you're interested. My second item involves something that's near and dear to all of your hearts. It's our ADK, our annual ADK calendar, right? Right. Shake your heads, yes. So what I need to know right now is how many of you are definitely planning on seeing me in October, November, or December, possibly even in January, for the 2015 ADK calendar? Raise your hand, please. I just want a little feeling, because Shirley and I are going to be up at headquarters in 3 weeks for the Board of Directors meeting, and I'm going to bring home a lot of calendars. So probably 20 or so. Okay, thank you so much. And my final item. Fred, you get to choose the lucky recipient. Fred's our presenter tonight. Jim Carr. Just as an aside, for those who don't know, that Jim and his colleagues have been involved in a number of years in exploring for shipwrecks. How many of you know that? Quite a few of you. That's good. Well, he and his partner just recently located another very, very old schooner off the city of Oswego in Lake Ontario. And his team is making more history and really important discoveries. So, congratulations.
If you want to read about it and also see a video, a very clear video of the shipwreck, go on my website, Shipwreck World. It's all one word, Shipwreck World. And you can find the article and see the video. And if you can't remember that, just Google Lake Ontario and shipwrecks, and I'm sure you'll get to the website.
Oh, I'm sure they will. Well, to honor your name having been chosen by our presenter, Fred, tonight, he has very graciously donated this copy of Climate Change from the Adirondacks as tonight's prize. So, congratulations.
Next, for the main part of our program, Nancy Dine.
So we're supposed to tell Jack everything we're going to talk about so that he can time us in, and he forgets we stand in line here and think of other things, so sorry, Jack. I wanted to point out in the Genesee this time that Sue Doherty has also climbed the 111 and 115, whether you have to climb 115. Congratulations.
Sue, stand up and turn around.
So whether you're an old timer, you put in your time on the EC and now you're kicking back, or whether you're new and never been here before, or whether you just come every time and put your heart into the club, whoever you are, you know, we're like a family and we honor those who have made achievements. We ask you to input anything that you can. We're not asking a whole bunch of stuff, but like David's asking for a little tiny article of something you enjoyed, or, you know, a hiking coordinator or anything. So whatever your input is, don't be afraid to step up and give some input, because it's highly welcomed and you get to work with a great group of people. So with that being said, going to programs, I don't know if everybody knows what a champion is. Whenever I say champion, and before I became programs chair, I didn't know what a champion was. That's someone who has a great idea for a presenter and brings it to the program chair, and then they get these fantastic, interesting people to come and do presentations. So a champion is a very important part of what you're here to see at your chapter meeting. So if you have a great idea, you know somebody interesting, please step up, because it's very important to share your contacts, okay? Also, if you think it's not a huge thing for a presentation, you could also bring it to our new chair for the workshops, Miranda. Are you out there, Miranda? Yay! Miranda's our new chair for workshops, and you know, if you have favorite equipment or know somebody who can teach us something, please see Miranda and give her that idea. So, now that being said, our champion tonight is Denny. And there's just so many things Denny's done for the club. I'm going to go blank because I'm really old. So I'm going to ask Denny to come up and introduce our presenter for this evening.